Welcome back. In episode 4 of our sauna build, we're doing finish work on walls, windows, and more. Okay, it's November 4th. I just spent a week in North Dakota duck and pheasant hunting. Today's opening day of deer season. I went out this morning, saw a couple little bucks. Nothing that really interested me, so here it is the afternoon. I gotta get started on this tile. And what we're doing is putting this hexagon tile up just around where the stove's going to be. So it's in the corner, about 32 by 32, all the way up the ceiling. This is my first time tiling, so no comments on what a crappy job I'm doing, because it's going to be just fine as far as I'm concerned. I bought a $20 tile cutter. I think it's going to do the job. I've already cut a few of these off, so let's give that a shot. I'm going to put a little bit on here. And yes, I'm going to eyeball it. This will be covered up by a piece of trim, so there, not too bad. First time of tiling. It's going to look pretty sharp. It's got to be about 80 degrees in here too, just with 2 heat lamps. Whew.
Is that one working?
My tile cutter broke.
Ooh.
That's probably why. See? I guess that's what I get for buying a $27 tile cutter. And it's probably my 20th trip to Menards. The last piece. So the next thing is grout. Tomorrow we'll go buy our cedar, because tomorrow the sale ends on the cedar. Well, it's been 2 days since I tiled. It's a little bit cooler out, so I wanted to give an extra day to set up. But now it's grout time. And just like my tiling, this is the first time for me. So when I started off tiling down there, it was kind of sloppy, but as I went along, it was getting way easier and cleaner and tidier. And I kind of suspect it to be with this grouting too. I'm kind of slopping it all over to begin with. They say you're supposed to go at a 45-degree angle across the lines, but there's so many lines that can't go 45 degrees with all of them, so just doing the best I can. As soon as I'm done grouting it, then I wipe it off.
While Jeff was busy working on the tile today, I was busy working on staining the remaining exterior cedar boards. We'll be wrapping doors, windows, and the edges of the sauna with them. It's going to look really pretty against that charcoal gray or that iron ore Sherwin-Williams color, and it will just make these boards pop.
Okay, I'm getting ready to lay my cedar down around my edging of the floor, and it's about 5 inches up from the floor. I've got it going all around the perimeter of the building, and I'm going to start my first piece of cedar. You can see the groove. I just cut one groove off. Look at that. It's going to fit perfect. So I'm going to overlap that cedar just like that, right over the top of that. Perfect. No need for drip edge. Now any water that comes down the cedar walls will just go right over that drip edge. Okay, you can see what I was talking about, the cement floor. I've got a 5-inch rise coming up, and my cedar, I cut the groove off of that, and now it's gonna sit right over the top of that perfectly. So I'll have a little overlap with that cedar over the top of that cement board. There's board number 1. And level. We're 7 boards into it. It's moving along pretty quick. That's solid. So I've gone through this and I've tried to pick out the boards that have the least amount of knots for right behind where we're sitting, and I'm kind of entering that territory right now. Okay, I've got the back wall finished and the ceiling finished. Just wrap that up tonight. Now tomorrow I'll do both side walls, and I did box out where the chimney's going to go up through, and it looks pretty sharp up against that tile. All right, gonna call it a night. Anywhere where I'm worried foil might show through, I'm just hitting with a little black paint. Pro tip from Sauna Times: when you're putting your last piece in up along this top, cut a 45-degree angle. That way if it gets really tight, you can cut the top off with a razor blade. I've had to do that in a couple of spots. And I might have to cut off a little bit of this one. Nope. Good there. That's where I'll have trim. Last piece of cedar siding going on. Cedar is done. Now I think we trim the windows and put the glass in.
So we got the walls done, and what's next is we're going to be putting the windows in. But to make sure that the sill sits nice and flush, we're trimming off a little bit of the siding by chiseling it, making sure it's nice and level before we sit the sill into it. Nice.
That window should fit in there.
Looks great. So we're putting in these strips that are going to hold the window glass in. These are our outside strips. We're mounting them flush with outside trim of the sauna. Jeff had to rip all these strips. We got the bottom one in. He had to rip them all down. We did 3/4 by 3/4 inch.
Yes, I am very happy.
Awesome.
There's about 1/8 of an inch gap on each side here, and 1/8 of an inch over the top. It was tight, so I had to go in with my rigid and literally cut out 1/8 of an inch track all the way up there for the top of this, just in case there's a little play. If it expands or contracts, I want to be able to do that.
Got it all primed. So next up is paint. Here comes our first coat of paint. This is iron ore from Sherwin-Williams. I think it's gonna look really pretty. Ooh. That is pretty. Love it.
All right, last night we got the window installed in the hot room, and since I'm kind of on a siding kick, I want to get this window finished too, but in order to do that I want to get the siding done in the changing room. So I bought some pine car siding at Menards, went and picked all that up, it was on sale, so I can get the back side of this wall done. I want to trim that window in, but I love the progress that this siding is showing. Honey, what do you think of your 5-foot window?
I love my 5-foot window.
You just got to trim around it. Sure looks nice though. And then we're going to start the ceiling just like that.
Mm.
And this is my most favorite tool. So I'm finished with my vaulted ceiling, done in pine car siding in the changing room, except for the top board there. I've got that ventilation ridge cap in the ceiling of the shingles on the top. So on the inside, to help moisture and heat escape this room, I'm creating a false ceiling with a final board here. See how it's got a 45-degree angle on each side? So that's going to allow space for air to get up through that top ridge cap. I'll show you once I put it up there. All right, so there's my false ceiling. And if I hold it way up, you can see the gap. That allows heat and moisture to escape.
Well, it's 8:30 at night and dark, and Jeff is still working. Let's see what he's done today. Well, today he framed the candle window and put a large ledge on it that's going to support our candles that will burn on this side of the wall. The window pane is going to sit right here. He's got two of the holders, the pane holders in. So that's going to be nice.
Took about a 1/4-inch groove on one side, just so it had boom span, so it can play back and forth. Up and down was good, side to side was a little snug.
Looks nice. Nice. In addition to the candle window pane that Jeff got in today, he got trim, cedar trim around the panoramic window, trimmed out the tile, trimmed the door, finished the ceiling, our drop ceiling or false ceiling, and that's the one that's going to allow ventilation in. Trimmed out the pine window and door from this side. In the hot room, Jeff wired this outlet for me so that we can run rope lighting underneath the benches for mood lighting. I'm going to try it out right now. Ooh, pretty. Ooh, I love that. Nice. Can't wait.
Well, it wasn't easy with 30-mile-an-hour winds today, but I've got the corners all trimmed, the windows, the doors, really looking sharp.
Stay tuned for the benches and doors and the detailed assembly for the stovepipe and Kuma wood-burning stove. All in episode 5, where things are about to heat up. Thanks for watching The Retriever Nation.